Welcome to the Lauren Blackwell channel. So Brian Hickerson does not appreciate how comfortable everyone is insinuating that he had something to do with what happened to Hayden. And he has lawyered up, as we all know. He hired Sloan Ellis. And I heard that Sloan Ellis is like this hotshot attorney. And so Brian is not playing around. He's trying to squash this rumor that is starting to go around because, he was in the house when the incident occurred. His brother was there as well. But he was at the house. And given his history with Hayden, a lot of people were starting to kind of accuse him of stuff. And so he lawyered up. I was curious to know who Sloan Ellis was, and he really is an experienced attorney. He also gave a statement, but before I read the statement that he gave on behalf of Brian, let me just say who he is and a little bit of what he has done. Sloan Ellis, right, he is experienced as a federal and state prosecutor. He has worked with a lot of U.S. departments as a prosecutor. He has worked with the DEA, the FBI. He has worked with the South Carolina Department of Revenue for white collar crimes. He prosecuted those, as well as drug offenses and violent crimes. Okay. He has also worked with Homeland Security. He has worked with the IRS, and he's worked with the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. So yeah, Brian Hickerson is definitely not taking any chances, considering how all of these accusations against him are starting to get louder and louder. So much so that, law enforcement has appeared at his house to question him regarding the incident. So this is the statement that Brian's attorney has given. So far, this is the only statement we've got from them. And it doesn't look like they'll be giving another statement anytime soon. So it says Hayden's death remains under investigation, and it is important to allow that investigation to proceed. As has been publicly reported, police confirmed there was no sign of foul play. Out of respect for Hayden's loved ones and the ongoing investigation, there will be no further comment at this time. So basically, he gave a statement to say that as far as the police is concerned, there is no sign of foul play. So yeah, it's still early in the investigation. And here's the thing though, when it comes to celebrities, especially celebrities that are liked or respected, we saw this with Matthew Perry. Even if the celeb decided to acquire the substance by themselves, a lot of the times that doesn't mean that somebody will not be prosecuted. Okay, they will find a way. If they want to find a way, they will find a way, because how did the celebrity get the substance? Is it prescribed as normal, or did they get it through some crooked ways, and who helped them acquire it? So if they really want to prosecute someone for something like this, it is very easy for them to do that. I think this happened with Michael Jackson as well. His doctor was under fire for some time. I don't know what ended up happening with him. I know that his practice suffered. I don't know if he still has his license, but I know he suffered in some way. He was in the news. His face was all over the place. That can't be good for business. Matthew Perry, the same thing. The person that sold it to him got in some trouble, even though Matthew Perry was not forced, So it's like you don't just get away scot-free just because you did not force the celebrity to take whatever they took. If you were the one that helped them acquire it, or you served it to them, as in you helped set up the system, I don't know what equipment or whatever, and it ends up being fatal, you can still face some consequences. We don't know that Brian had anything to do with this particular incident because based on what we heard, he was sleeping in the living room. Okay. Now I'm starting to see that saying that he was sleeping is actually important, because if you're sleeping, then you're not the one serving someone whatever it is that caused harm to them. So I don't know, saying that he was sleeping kind of makes it difficult to say that he gave it to them, unless whatever it is takes time for it to take effect. Then in that case, it probably wouldn't matter that he was sleeping. Perhaps it was served to Hayden and then he went to sleep. I'm not trying to accuse him of anything because as far as we know, he was just in the house and that's it. So I'm just now starting to realize that him saying that he was sleeping is actually quite significant. We've also heard of instances when Hayden tried to acquire certain substances by herself to, I think, a hotel or something, and the hotel staff would not allow them deliver the substance. In this case, she was the one who tried to order it, and she was the one that was upset when she didn't get it. So just because Brian was in the house does not necessarily mean that he had anything to do with this. A lot of people want some kind of justice if anyone had a hand in this, and so a lot of people are saying, oh, they need to look closer at Brian. There are cops at his house. What did he do? And I understand why people will be saying this, but we got to remember, this is very serious, guys. This kind of accusation is very serious. You don't just put this on somebody, because if he has to go through the process, like through trial or stuff like that, it's going to ruin his life. It could ruin his life. It takes time, and then even when people go through stuff like that, even after they are exonerated, in the eyes of the public, they're never quite fully exonerated. It's still like, I don't know, people have a difficult time exonerating people in their minds, even if they're exonerated in the legal system. So if he did not do this, then it's going to be really bad that he's been accused of it. I saw an interview that Brian did with TMZ a few years ago, when he was asked about the DV that he did towards Hayden, where he had to be taken into custody, and the whole case he didn't suffer as much consequences as he would have, because I think they ended up not having any material witness, and so he didn't get all the consequences that he would have if the case proceeded as it should have. And he was talking about that case. I was surprised when he did that interview with TMZ. He was very candid. He admitted that Hayden is very small. Like he said she was 5'3" or something, and then so him doing that to her was horrible, and he suffered the consequence like he's supposed to, and he shouldn't have. He was very candid. He wasn't, I don't know, I didn't get any like ego when he was talking about it. He was very open. The interviewer was asking him some very uncomfortable questions. She literally asked him what happened, and he just, said what he did, and he owned up to it, which is good, but that's not to say that people don't flip anyone, when they're in front of a camera and they know that it's going to be watched by tens of millions of people, I mean, they'll be at their best behavior. But behind closed doors, they're a completely different thing. But he was very candid at that interview, and he owned up to what he did. At this time, he was not with Hayden. I think they had broken up because of it. And in the interview, they asked him if he read Hayden's book, and he said yes, he read it. The chapter, it was very hard for him to read, but he read everything, and he recommends that people read it. And he owned up to what he did. But on the flip side, I also heard one of the things that occurred between him and Hayden, and I just thought that was kind of, I mean, that was just weird. Like, how do you get to that point? So according to what they said, I did not verify this, I didn't read any police documents or anything like that, but according to what was said, they said that he was the one who said this. He said this himself in an interview, which is crazy. So he said that in one of the DV incidents that they had, him and Hayden, he told Hayden that he was going to give her 10 seconds to run. And he took off his shoes, I think. He had something in his hand. I think it was his shoes, if I'm not mistaken. Or was it his cell phone? It was something. An object. And he said he was going to throw it at her, and she had 10 seconds to run. Now, whether or not he threw it, he didn't clarify that part. But what kind of thing is that? What kind of relationship is that? Like, why do people act like this kind of a thing is normal in relationships? This is actually not normal. You don't, first of all, as a man, you do not play the same kind of games that you play with your guy friends, with your girlfriends, with your female friends, especially not with the girl that you're in a relationship with, especially not if that girl is 5'3", you know. So he's probably like 6 something, playing this kind of games. Like, he's gonna throw an object and she needs to run. And the fact that he talked about it while he was discussing DV, it was not a joke. This is them fighting. Like, it's just so weird how comfortable people get in relationships. Like, people get so comfortable, and then their partners allow them to get way too comfortable, to where they first of all hurl insults and then throw punches, and it's like, yeah, it was a lot. He was a reckless person when all of this was going on. He was just a little too comfortable with violence. So I don't understand why he's so shocked now that people are suspecting him of having something to do with this. Because if you're in a relationship with someone, you guys are known to have DV between you, so much so that you have been arrested. You have an order of protection against you. You even there's a notice at the home of your ex saying that they should not let you within the premises. If you have that kind of a relationship and then you add substance use to it, and then something happens to the person you're in a relationship with, of course they have to look at you. They have to look at you thoroughly. So if none of these things were a factor, they would still look at him, because the significant other is the first person that they look at. This particular significant other has a lot of stuff in his background that's not clean, and then he was in the premises when it happened, and then he's prone to violence, and so it's like, why is he surprised that this is the course that things are taking? He should not be surprised. He should have been expecting it, and yeah, he should just expect it. This is what comes with the kind of life that he has chosen. Hayden's mother is also not mincing words when she says that, she did not think that he was good for her daughter. Was she wrong? Absolutely not. She was not wrong. Hayden was suffering from substance use, and someone like Hayden should have been in a relationship with a more grounded person, not someone else who probably also has substance abuse problems. I'm not sure that he has it. Maybe he's able to handle his own, but I doubt that Hayden is just in that house all by herself with her substances and he's just, I don't know, reading a book or watching TV. No, I think they're both in it together. So instead of him being the pillar that she would have leaned on to get herself out of a situation, he introduced more toxicity with the things that he was doing. He was the absolute wrong partner for Hayden. Let's not forget all of the text messages that are starting to resurface, which a lot of these messages were from a long time ago, and I feel like all they do is ruin his reputation. They're not super duper relevant to this because that was a long time ago, and I don't know, who's to say that he hasn't changed. Hayden did welcome him back into her life. She kept it quiet, so it's like there are two sides to it. She welcomed him back into her life probably because she's comfortable with him, she's known him for a long time, and she still likes him, you know, but she kept it quiet, possibly because he has not exactly changed, you know, because if he has changed and she is proud that he is this better version of himself, why was she hiding him? Why not show that he has changed? Looking at him appearance wise and the way he is acting, it doesn't seem to me like he has changed. He just, I don't know. And then he's like, according to what people have said, he isolates her from a lot of people that care about her. That is a major red flag. And so yeah, there's just a lot of factors to be considered, and it is unfortunate that things have gotten so ugly and to the point of no return at this point. Like, but if he had nothing to do with this, I can only imagine what he is feeling, because he's gonna have a lot of regrets. He had so many opportunities to help her. He literally lived in the same house with her, so it's not as if they're estranged and he couldn't help her. So he had opportunities and he just didn't do anything. And now he has to fight for his own name, to clear his name, and etc. We'll see how it goes, but one thing I do know is that if they really want to prosecute somebody for this, it's going to be hard not to do so, because it's obvious that they were both in this substance use thing together. That's all I have on Brian Hickerson. We'll see what ends up happening. I feel like nothing's gonna come off of this, you know, because I don't know, for the most part a lot of people have assumed that Hayden was in this by herself for many years. It's not like a sudden thing that you can just blame on one person. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.